A very good morning, dear student. I'm Akansha, Academic Counselor IGNOU, and I'm taking your subject called Human Resource Development. The subject code for it, which is MMPH002. Now, dear student, you must be aware of that the syllabus of the subject called Human Resource Development is divided into four blocks. The block number one has 3 units, the two has 4 units, the third has again 3 units, and the last block has 2 units. And up till now, we have covered unit number 1, 2, and 3, 4, 5, and 6. So today, we'll be talking upon unit number 7, which includes analysis of performance and career planning. So let's start. So under the unit number 7, we will be covering the following topics. And the topics are performance management, system theory and human performance, historical perspective of performance management, behavior, performance and management, how they are linked. Now we'll be talking about the concept of career, career transition and choices, career anchors, career problems, individual strategies and organizational strategies in career formulation, career trends, and rising employment trends in India in the year 2024. So, without wasting time, let's start. Dear students, performance management consists of two terms, performance and management. So let's talk about each and every term one by one. So now what is performance? Performance is concerned with how well something is done. How efficiently and effectively you are performing in your actions in your organization is your performance. It is also defined as a behavior that accomplish results. So your action, are they leading to some result is your performance. Now what is performance management? It is defined as a systematic process for improving individual, team and organizational performance. So it has certain steps and the objective of those steps is improving the individual performance, the team performance, and all this will lead to improving organizational performance. Now, how we do it? We do it by building a high performance culture by delivering programs that recognizes and reward the critical skill, capabilities, experiences, and performance, and also ensures that the reward system are market based, equitable, and cost effective. So, performance management results into creating a high performance culture. And how you do it? You do it by rewarding people who are high performer. And not only this, you're also holding the hands of those who are underperforming. So this is how we are creating a high performance culture within the organization. And when you're giving rewards, be sure that they are best in the market. That's why we are calling it as market based. Equitable means the people of same skill, same experience, and same knowledge is getting equal rewards. And these rewards have to be cost effective. You have to always keep in mind the pockets of your organization. So, this is what performance management is. So, before we dwell deeper into performance management, I would like to quote what Capelli has said. He said that when an employee fails in their job, the part of the organization also fails. So, what he's trying to say, he's trying to link the performance of each and every individual within the organization with the overall organizational performance. Fine. So, the objective of performance management is to eliminate such errors or at least significantly reduce such possibilities that your employee will fail at the job they are performing. All right. So, It's how organization communicate the expectation to its employees and drive behavioral changes to accomplish those goals. And it's also about how organization identify ineffective performers for development programs or other personal action. Development programs here are training and development programs. And other personal actions can be counseling, coaching, fine, hand holding of your people within your organization. Fine. So, the overall goal of performance management is to create a high performance culture within your organization where everybody is performing, motivated to achieve the individual as well as organizational goals. Now, let's talk about that performance management is not only limited to performance appraisal. So, what they two are. What is performance appraisal? Performance appraisal is just evaluating the performance of an employee. That are they able to work as per the standard or their performance was below or above the standard performance you have set for. Alright, it is done periodically and generally performance appraisal is done once in a year. Whereas performance management is comprehensive, it is not a one-time job, it is a continuous process of improving the individual organizational performance. Alright, so performance management system focuses on value addition and value creation in the employees. And by creating value, it increases the profitability by resulting in improved performance of your people. So this is what performance management is all about. Fine. I hope what performance management is clear to you all. Now let's link system theory with human performance. Dear student, system theory is derived from organizational theory. Organizational theory deals with improving the process and performance of the people within the organization. Organizational theories includes classical, neoclassical, modern, contingency, and system theories. All right. So before we start with the system theory, let's understand what system is. Every system is made up of various subsystems. So every organization has several departments under it, which can be considered as the subsystem of the organization. Every system has a boundary on the periphery that differentiate it from the external environment. It is this boundary which is giving you a separate identity. All right. Now systems can be of two types, open system and closed system. Organizations are, these are the open system. And when I say open system, it means that you are impacting the external environment and any external environment change is also impacting your organization. All right. So with respect to the system theory, organizations are viewed as a system with the relative boundaries that interact with the environment and must adapt to the environmental changes in order to exist according to the theory. All right. So, according to this system theory, it is opposite of independence, isolation, and closeness. And this theory promotes interdependencies, interconnection, and openness. Fine. So to conclude this, according to the system theory, none of the organization works in isolation. You are impacted by external environment and you also impact the external environment too. Fine. Now, let's understand how performance management has evolved over a period of time. No doubt, the credit of performance management goes to Frederick Winslow Taylor, also known as father of scientific management. Why? Because he was the first person who introduced first formal monitoring system before First World War. So obviously the credit of the evolution of performance management goes to F.W. Taylor. And it was the year 1920 when the rating for officers in the United States Armed Service was introduced. And after that, it moved from United States of America to United Kingdom, where the rating system was used for rating some factory-based American organizations employees. Fine. Now, in the year 1950 to 1960, a merit rating system was introduced in United States as well as in United Kingdom. Then, in 1960, Peter Drucker gave the concept of management by objective. Management by objective, the both employee and employer or senior or junior sits together and they decide on mutual objectives. Fine. Here the principle is this, that the goals which are mutually accepted by employee and employer, the motivation of the employees will be high in achieving those goals. So the MBO was developed in the year 1960 by Peter Drucker. Fine. In 1970, a revised result-oriented performance appraisal was emerged. And this performance appraisal system is still prevailing in the organizations today. It was the year 1970 where the term performance management was coined, but the recognition of it came in the year 1980. So this is how your subject, the topic called performance management, has evolved over the period of time. Fine. Now what is rating? If I say rating, means what? Rating is your senior is rating you on certain job related traits or behavioral phenomenon on a scale. That scale may vary from 1 to 3 point, or it can be of 5 points, or it can be of 7 points. For example, how qualitative is your output can be rated by your senior on a 3-point scale. The scale can be like your performance is poor, average, or good. This is how rating is being done. All right. And the concept of merit rating was introduced by W. D. Scott. He was an American pioneer and he introduced it before First World War. So what it is? It is the process of assessing how well someone was. When I say how well, it is with respect to your personality traits such as judgment, integrity, qualities such as leadership or cooperativeness. Alright, these are the parameters on which your performance is being rated. Then came graphical rating scale, which was developed in the year 1920 and 1930. Under this scale also, there are certain parameters on the rating scale and a checkbox is given in front of it and the senior is going to check the most suitable box according to your performance. This is what graphical rating scale is. Fine. So this is how the performance management has evolved over the period of time. And again, when we talk about performance management, we cannot forget to talk about merit rating. Now, let's talk about personality, behavior, and performance. Now, you must be wondering what is the relationship of personality and behavior when we talk about performance management. Dear student, whenever you are in an organization, your conduct or the behavior not only affect your performance, but it also impacts the performance of your fellow people. All right. So that's why whenever we are talking about performance and management, we shall also talk about personality and behavior. So let's start it. We'll again start with the performance. So performance is defined as a behavior that accomplish the results. Your action shall lead to outcome and outputs within the organization. And behavior transform the ideas into action. Fine, I'm thinking of driving. And that thinking has to be converted into actual driving. Right? This is how you transform your ideas into action. Fine. And it is a product of mental and physical efforts applied to a task. You have to, for behaving in a one way or other, your mind and your physical efforts are continuously needed in a synchronized way. Fine. Now, what is personality? Personality is derived from a Latin word called persona, which means mask. Fine. We all are wearing a mask in our day to day life. Isn't it so? How we look like at times a behavior is completely opposite of it. So that's why understanding personality is important. So let me talk about the definition of personality. Personality is defined as a relatively stable and enduring characteristic that determines our thought, feeling, and behavior. Fine, the personality is made up of your innate and acquired traits. Traits can be innate means the traits which you receive by birth, which are being transferred from one generation to other. It can be your physical features, right? Your height, your weight, the color of the skin, so on and so forth. But there are certain traits like intelligence, how to react and behave in one particular situation is being taught and learned. But these traits are relatively permanent. That's why one individual is different from other. All right. I hope you understood the concept of personalities. And people have classified it in various ways like big five trait of personality, internal and external locus of control, type A personalities, type B personalities, so on and so forth. Just to tell you that one individual is different from other. Fine. But why we are linking it with performance? Because your individual behavior, dietic interaction, and people's contribution to the team, group, or bigger work units can also be considered when discussing the importance of personality within the organization. In short, how you behave, how you interact with other individuals, team, and an organization is the result of your traits or your personality. All right, so that's why we have linked personality with behavior and behavior with performance. So, let's talk about the human ABC of behavior and performance. So, human behavior is a set of mental, physical, emotional, and social actions that people engage in throughout their lives, and it is influenced by culture, society, ethics, and heredity. All right. So human is what? Human is a combination of your mind, your physique, your emotions. Emotions are your feeling. At times you get angry. At times you get sad. At times you get nervous, right? And this is the beauty of human that we people are emotional. All right. But you have to be emotionally intelligent too. You shall know how to emotionally react in one given situation. And again, just like your organization, they never work in isolation. Similarly, and human is also a social animal, right? And you have to behave according to the norms set by your society. All right. And all these are influenced by culture, the society, the ethics, and heredity. Now, what is culture? Culture is nothing. Culture is sum total of your values, beliefs. Fine, it is very much deep rooted. At looking at the people, they all look similar, but there are deep rooted cultural differences. When you're dealing with people, You have to not only understand the personalities, the behaviors, but you have to also keep in mind the cultural differences in order to minimize the conflict within the organization. All right, then society. We all are social animals. We all are a part of a society. And every society has its do's and don'ts. Fine. Or to put it into better terms, every society has its norms. All right. If you want to be a part of that society, you have to follow those norms. Norms are the rules and regulation of the society. All right. Otherwise, you will be treated as an outgroup of that society. Fine. Ethics are what? Ethics are different from morals. Ethical principles are determined are do's and don'ts. All right, then hereditary. Hereditary are the traits which are being passed on from one generation to other. So human behavior is very complex. It is made up of your mental, physical, and emotional actions. Fine, and it is influenced by the culture, society, ethics, and hereditary. All right. Again, why we are talking about it in performance? Because knowledge and awareness of conduct is critical, since it does not only it degrades your own performance but also has a significant impact on the performance of others. All right. Why? Because we observe people around us, right? And observation plays a very crucial role when we are dealing with the people. I hope it is clear. And to conclude this, Robbins has said that considering conduct to be a strong instrument in determining employee performance. Fine, you have to be very cautious about your conduct and your behavior within the organization when we are talking about performance management. Fine. Again, now we are linking motivation with behavior and performance. Dear student, the term motivation is derived from a Latin word called movere. इसका मतलब it means movement. Here, movement doesn't mean a physical movement. I'm moving from one place to other, right? I'm going from here to there. But it is an internal movement. Now you must be wondering what this internal movement is. It is the conversion of your own need, want, and desires to the burning desire. It is that state in which you remain restless, right? Remember a night before exam. It is hard to sleep. Isn't it so? Because there your need has been converted into a burning desire. That if I will not study now, I will get failed. Right? If I want to revise my content now, I may not attain a good score. This is what motivation is. Now, let's talk about the definition of motivation. Motivation is the complex set of force starting and keeping a person at work in an organization. Motivation is something that moves the person to action and continues him in the course of action already initiated. Fine. Motivation is very complex, right? Why? Because need, want, and desires are within us. And at times we remain unhappy, but we have no reason why we are unhappy. Isn't it so? At times we know we have to study, but we don't. Agree? That's why we're calling it as a complex force. And at times your action doesn't yield result also, right? That's why we call motivation as a complex set of force. It is within you. Fine. And it is that force which forces you into some behavior, into some action, and you didn't stop until and unless you achieve those goals and objectives which you people have set for yourself. Alright, this is what motivation is. And it is based on your need, want, and desires. Like, why we are talking about motivation now? Because your performance is the result of ability into motivation into resources. If you have ability, but you lack motivation, we know we have to study. We have an ability also to score good number, but we lack in motivation. We're not studying, right? Your performance will be low. Your motivation is very high. I want to achieve so and so position, package of so many lakhs and crores, but I don't have ability. I don't have capability of performing those tasks, cracking the interviews or cracking the aptitude test. So alone motivation cannot improve your performance. All right. You have ability also, you have motivation also, but you don't have resources. All right. You want to study, but you don't have books. You want to study, but you haven't prepared notes. Right. You don't have internet connection. Then again, your performance will be low. So, in order to have a higher performance, one shall have ability or the capability of performing the task. You have to be highly motivated and you shall also have the sufficient resource. Alright, so behavior, motivation, personality all are directly linked with your performance. Fine. So we had a lot of discussion on what performance management is. To conclude this, can I say performance management is a system which includes establishing of well-defined objectives, designing the programs, implementing it so that it can be effectively evaluated and analyzed. Right, to get the performance management intact, you have to set the standards, you have to communicate it to your people have to put it into action, and they're performing it. You have to continuously monitor it, analyze it, and you have to give them the feedback. That's why we are calling performance management as a systematic process. All right. Now, why performance management system is essential? It is essential because it is linked with career management, career development, succession planning, talent management, compensation management system, training and development. So, the success of HR system depends on integration of these subsystems. All right. So your performance management's result will help you in career development, talent management, compensation, how much to pay to your employee, succession planning, creating a pipeline of people, fine, and also for the training and development. So this is the process of performance management. It includes 4 steps: plan, act, monitor, and review. Planning is first and foremost step. In planning, you have to plan for the performance agreement, right? Your people should also agree on the objectives you people have planned. Define the role, set the objective, also think about the competencies which are needed to perform those tasks, performance improvement and performance development. All right, this is the first step of performance management. Then comes the action. Planning is thinking, action is performing the task. Fine. In action, you have to carry out the role. You have to implement the performance improvement plans. You have to implement performance development plans too. Once your people are performing, you have to have an eye on them. How are they performing? Fine. Are they lacking in motivation? Or they're lacking in certain resources? So through monitoring, you manage performance throughout the year. As I told you earlier, it's not like performance appraisal that you have done it once in a year. It is a continuous process. You have to continuously monitor the performance. You have to continuously provide the feedback. You know to wait for one particular day in a year to tell your people that your performance was below the standards. All right. So it is a continuous process. And if the performance is lagging, our objective here is not to find the fault of the people. We have to hold their hand. We have to provide the coaching also so that the performance can be improved. And this is how you have to deal with the underperforming people within the organization. Last is reviewing the performance. Fine, it is joint analysis of performance by both senior and subordinate. You have a dialogue because communication is two-way process. You have to communicate it to the employees. You have to provide them a feedback. You have to assess their performance. You have to agree on standard. You have to build on strength so that further improvement can be done. And one thing which you people can observe with the help of this diagram, that it is a cyclic process. It is an ongoing process, right? After review, then again comes the plan. All right, so the performance management process includes four steps: the plan, act, monitor, and review. And however, it is a cyclic process, it is not a one-time job. All right, student. Although we'll be talking about these heads one by one in detail. Fine, objectives. Objectives are your concrete goals which you have to achieve in the organization, and these are the objectives which will help you to achieve your vision and mission of the organization. So a successful performance management method is built on the foundation of the objective. As an organization, you shall be clear what you want your people to do, communicate them. Fine, and if there's an error, again you have to provide the timely feedback. Now, it says that complex goal setting method such as SMART targets, key outcome areas, key performance indicator should be replaced with a system based solely on defining and agreeing on a small number of priorities. What we mean to say, dear student, these days organizations are working on OKRs, objective key result areas. What I mean to say, that these days organizations are moving from qualitative objectives to quantitative objectives, which can be measured. Fine. So this is how you have to set the objectives within your organization. And planning, again, planning plays a crucial role, right? If you fail to plan, then plan for your failures. Same goes with the performance planning. Like all of the other processes, it is a joint effort between management and employees. You have to sit with your workers, with your people when you're deciding on your objectives. You cannot, in today's time, sit in your room and decide on the objectives. You have to take your people along with you. Begin by identifying primary job expectations in the form of job description. Job description is the result of job analysis, which is a detailed study of each and every job. And in job description, you write what are the key activities, tasks, and positional relationship are necessary to perform one particular job. And job specification talks about the person who will be performing that job. It talks about the experience, knowledge, so on and so forth. Now, long-term and short-term goals as well as the action plan for achieving them has to be made under performance plan. Goals can be ranked in order to determine which are the most important. When you have written down your objectives and goal, you can also set the priority. Fine. You can rank them from 1 to 10. Number 1 is most important, the objective which has to be done first. Then second, then third, so on and so forth. So when you have goals in writing, then only you can set the priorities. You can rank them in terms of their importance. The goal which is coming on the number 1 position is most prior. You have to finish it first. So this is the importance of performance planning. Now analyzing. Look, you have set the objectives, you've done the planning also, you people are performing the task. Now your role is analyzing the performance, how well they are doing. Why? Because inadequate performance measurement can be a roadblock to change and improve. Right? The other two tasks which you have already done, setting the objective and planning, will be futile if you are not analyzing the performance of your people and giving them timely feedback. So, The measurement of the analysis ensures a relationship between individual employee and the organization's vision and goals in order to achieve excellence in the organization on one hand and employees' happiness and the progress on the other hand. Fine, the overall objective is to eliminate the errors, failures, so that individual and organizational goals can be achieved. Fine. So, to conclude, performance management includes goal setting, performance planning, performance monitoring, feedback, and coaching. And should be a not be a year-round process rather than it should be a year-round process rather than a once a year event. As I told you, performance management is a continuous process. It is not a one-time job. When feedback is given at the right time, it improves learning and gives you the chance to make any necessary adjustment to reach your goals. So this is the importance of performance management. Now also talk about the theories. Fine. So there are three underlying theories under your performance management. And these theories are goal theory, control theory, and social cognitive theory. Dear student, goal theory tells you the importance of goal setting. Control theory tells you the importance of feedback. And social cognitive theory talks about the self-efficacy. So we'll be covering them one by one. Goal. What are the goals? Goals are SMART goals, which is specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time. What is the importance of goal then? Look, if you have goal and specifically written goals, you know where you have to reach. All right. Let's understand. Suppose you doesn't know the destination where you can want to go. You can board or take any bus. You will reach at any place that will become your destination. All right. But if you know your destination, you will board the right bus and you will reach the destination. This is what the importance of goal is. And this is what is highlighted in the theory. Fine. It highlights four mechanisms that connect goals to the performance or the outcome. First is when you have goal, you have direction. All right. They direct attention to priorities. They motivate you, they stimulate you, they keep telling you that something is still to be done, which is not done by you. Isn't it so? They challenge people to enhance their knowledge and skill, to increase their chances of success. The more challenging the goals are, more people will enhance their skill. All right. What is very competitive and you have to be learning all the time. So, this theory supports the emphasis in performance management on setting and agreeing objectives against which performance can be measured and managed. Right, so, this theory put emphasis on the importance of goals. Now, moving on to control theory. As I told you, control theory focuses attention on feedback. Somebody telling you how you are performing as a means of shaping the behavior. Fine. Now let's talk about the importance of feedback. As people receive feedback on their behavior, they appreciate the discrepancies between what they are doing and what they are expected to do. And take corrective action to overcome the discrepancy. Right? And you know the standard and you know how you're performing. You got to there's a gap between the standard and performance. Obviously, you take the corrective actions to meet the standards. It's a role of feedback. So, feedback is recognized as a critical part of performance management process. So, this is the control theory. Now, last theory is social cognitive theory. Fine. This is based on the principle of or the concept of self-efficacy. Now, what is self-efficacy? Self-efficacy is your own confidence or belief in your own capability. All right. Every individual or every person has some self-image of them in their mind. Right? You may consider yourself to be confident having good communication skill, having good technical and functional and managerial skill. All right. And let me tell you, student, how you see yourself impact you more than how anybody sees you in this world. All right. So this is the concept of self-efficacy. They suggest that what people believes they can or cannot do impacts their own performance. Isn't it so? So developing and strengthening positive self-belief is in employees is therefore an important performance management objective. All right, you have to do a realistic self evaluation. Who you are can motivate you, can direct you, and can actually help you to achieve the objectives. So, this is the gist of social cognitive theory, which is based on the concept of self efficacy. All right. Fine. So let's quickly talk about the principles of performance management. They're 10 in number and they're given by Armstrong and Bell. First, it says that performance management is about people, not about the system. So it has to deal with what managers do within the organization. It can be considered as a tool that helps the manager to manage the people within the organization. It is obviously driven by corporate purpose and value. Everything you do in an organization is coming from the philosophy set by top level management. The objective is to obtain the solution that works. The objective of performance management is not to find the fault of the people in the system, right? Six, only interested in things you can do something about and get a visible improvement. Here we are not talking about qualitative goals. We are talking about quantitative and measurable outcomes or OKRs. It focuses on changing the behavior rather than paper. Here, we want to bring in transformation in the people because it is the people which will yield you profit. Agree? So, based on accepted principle, it operates on flexibility. You cannot be rigid in today's time. It focuses on development, not the developing the skill set of people, the competency of people. And the last, success depends on what the organization needs and need to be in the performance culture. So this was about the principles of performance management. Now, again, very important topic, important for you people. What is career? Can I call career as a collection of work-related activities, personal experiences, or perspective or viewpoint that occurs over a various stages of life of an individual? Dear student, career is not a one job you people will be performing in your work life, right? It is made up of various positions which are related but different. You will be performing in your work life. So let's get into the definition by Stephen P. Robbins. He says that career is a sequence of positions occupied by a person during the course of a lifetime. Right? You'll be moving from one position to position. Every position will be different but related, and that will make your career. And so, a career may be defined as a sequence of jobs that constitute what a person does for living. Obviously, we have to earn our bread and butter. How we'll do it? We'll be doing by performing certain jobs and positions in the organization. And that's what career is. Fine. So, the concept of career development covers both personal and organizational growth. The student career is not only linked with the individual, right? Organization is equally responsible for holding your hand, providing you the opportunity so that together you and your organization can grow. It deals with acquiring various competencies in order to advance in your career. As you have to move from one position to other position, right? One job to other. And the other job may require different sets of skills, different level of maturity that you have to develop during your career. Organizational career development is an activity that takes account into long-term benefit and success of the employee. And A successful employee will lead to successful organization. Features. It helps individuals to develop various competencies required to fulfill different career roles as well as behavioral outcomes. So your competencies and behavior are equally required for career development. Competency we talked in the previous class also. It deals with knowledge, attitude, skill, values, and abilities, trait and motives. It can also give professional direction related to career goals. It creates a synergy between personal and organizational goals. It leads to satisfaction, motivation, and better performing individual. And again, it is an ongoing process. Fine. Now, individual and organizational perspective of career development. Dear student, organizational central career development focuses on job and also on the identifying career paths that provide for the logical progression of people between the jobs in the organization. The focus of organization centric career development is on job. Fine, organization is chalking down a plan that how we will help the employee in growing in their career. Whereas individual-centered career planning focuses on individual rather than on the organizational need. So we are having two approaches, organizational and individual approach in career development. Career transition and choices. Dear student, as I told you that whenever you get a job, you will not get or you don't want to get retired from that job only. All right, we'll be moving from one organization to another, one job to other. Fine. And while you are choosing it, you have to go through certain choices. And the process is called as career transition. That is movement from one job to other or from one organization to other. All right. So we say that career growth is not a one-time event wherein an individual decides a position in the organization in time of entry and then remains in it, right? We all are humans. We all are progressive, right? We want to move upward in the career. This is what career transition and choices are. Fine. So when it comes to career transition and choice, one of the beautiful models given by Erikson, we call it as Erikson's theory of adult. It has four stages: the early career, the mid-career, the late career, and end career. Early career, you may have age of 20 years. In mid-career, you may be within the age bracket of 30 to 40 years. Late career is 50 years plus, and this career includes 60 to 70 years of age. Fine. Now, what are your needs? In the earlier career, you identify the interest. First, you know who I am and what I love to do in an organization. You explore several jobs. Fine. And your concern is on external reward in the form of incentive, increments, monetary and non-monetary rewards. And you also try to enhance your skills. Mid-career is advancing in career, lifestyle may limit, option and growth opportunity you people are looking for. The concern is now it is not on external reward, it is on value contribution, what you are adding to the organization, right? Self-worth. So it leads to integrity and well-being. In late career, you update your skill. Now, majority of you get into the leadership position. Individual is settled in whose opinion matters. What you want to be, you try to achieve in the late career stage. Here, you start mentoring the people around you and you somewhat start disengaging with the organization. Fine. Then the last stage is career end, in which you are under the age bracket of 60 to 70 years. Now you start planning for your retirements, examining new work interest. Now the concern is just retirement or you want to engage yourself with some part-time employment. Fine. So, according to Erickson, the career is divided into four stages: early career, mid career, late career, and career end. Now, let's talk about the stages of career development given by Evans. So, he says, depending upon the life stages and as per the needs and wants, career development can be explained by this model. And it includes the following stages. The stages are exploration, establishment, mid-career, late career, and decline. So let's have a look at this. At the exploration stage, you have not actually start your job. You're into school and colleges. You're knowing who I am. When I say who I am, you try to understand your personality, your motivation, your strength and weaknesses. And you also figure it out for which organization, in which organization I shall get my first job. Fine, you are generally within the age bracket of 15 to 25 years. And before exploration, there is also pre-exploration stage. Now you get the establishment stage, you get the job, fine. And you can see the line is linear, it is moving upward. You enhance the skill and you want to grow in your life. Then comes the mid-career. Mid-career crisis is known as when you want to progress in your career also, but also with you the progression in your career, there are certain changes at your family life also. You may get married, you may get kids also. And you're struggling with the requirements of both your family and your work. Then comes the late career. We have three options. You want to grow, or you just want to maintain what you have achieved up till now, or your performance somewhat dig down, and we call it as stagnation. So under late career, you have three choices: growth, maintenance, and stagnation. And then last is the decline, when you start thinking of the detachment with the organization, with your career, and you start working for your retirements. Alright, so these are the stages given by Evans. Fine. Now, different career paths. Career can be steady, it can be linear, it can be transitional, it can be spiral. Steady, you have a long commitment with your organization. You join an organization on one particular position and you retire from it. We're calling it as steady state career. Linear, a straight line, right? You're very progressive. You're switching from one job to other, and for this you are continuously acquiring new skills. Transition means you are switching job quickly. You're moving from one job to other, but one job is not related to the previous job. We're calling it as transition. Spiraling means you have worked for a very shorter period of time. This is what spiraling career is. Fine. Now, career anchor, another important topic of career management. Career anchor is a word used to describe certain attitudinal syndrome which guides you throughout your career. Fine. And these syndromes were a combination of need, values, and talents that serve to anchor a person to one of the few related type of career. So 5 such anchors are managerial competency, technical and functional competency, security, creativity, autonomy, and independence. So your drives or attitudes are different. Managerial competency, you see how competent I am at decision making, right? Risk bearing or steering the organization. Fine. Technical functional competency means how good you are at technical know-how, right? Security, you don't want to switch your jobs. You're more concerned with the job security or one particular organization or the geographical location. Creativity, you're striving for creating something new. You're very creative. And autonomy and independence is you're looking for freedom within the organization. Freedom of decision making, leading people from the top. So career anchors are your attitudinal syndrome that act as a guide throughout your career. Fine. Now again, career is not without problems. You can have stress. Stress can be eustress and de-stress. One is positive, another one is negative. There are certain occupations, right? Like army, or sales field, right? Which have more stress as compared to others. So understand you how much stress you can take and accordingly decide your career. Family. Obviously, we all are social animals. As you grow in your career, your family life cycle will also increase and change. So you have to make a balance between unknown potential. It can be understood from 2 points. Certain individual, the employees, they themselves doesn't know their potential. Fine. And at times you know your potential, but your organization is unable to tap it. Again, you will be unhappy, you will be dissatisfied. Initial performance assessment and feedback. Dear students, say never ever depend on your organization for your feedback. You should check how good you performing, right? And can keep you going. Dependence. In your early stages of career, you need some mentoring, right? You need somebody to hold your hand and tell you what you're good at and what you are not. That can help you in career development. Loyalty issue and moral dilemmas, right? At times, whenever you are in the leadership position, you have to deal with certain ethical and moral dilemmas. Stagnation and regression, right? Some individuals also face the problem. They feel like they're stagnant. They are not going ahead in their career. So these are the career problems. Fine. So what is career development? It is a synergetic effort of both individual and organization with the HR in the forefront. So career is not only linked with the employee. Fine. Organizations are equally responsible for the career development of its people. You have to create a common goal, aligning the various objectives and goals horizontally as well as vertically, so that you create a harmony between organizational and individual goals. So it is the task of both organization and employee. They have to sit together and they have to work on both horizontal and vertical goals. Fine. So, what individual strategies you can opt for career development? Do it now. Don't wait for tomorrow. Tomorrow never comes. Fine. Know yourself. Again, very important. We talk about personality. We talk about motivation. We talk about self-efficacy. Who I am. Who I am in terms of my strength and weaknesses. What I am capable of. Please set realistic goal for yourself so that neither you will be in trouble nor your organization. Career opportunity analysis. Please do the market analysis. What external environment is asking for? What jobs are in demand? Will my skill be sufficient to meet those demands or I'll become obsolete? Please work on it. Career goal. Set a realistic and smart goal for yourself. Feedback. Your student never take feedback as negative. It is always essential for improving your performance. And this is how you can manage your career. Now, what organizations can do for improving the career of its people? Improve the system of planning and forecasting the human resource. Provide them guidance, support for education and training. As an organization, you have to spend money in training and development of your people. Give them specific assignment and rotate their job so that they can enhance their skill. Also, provide them professional development workshops so that their skills can be enhanced. Provide appropriate rest because there's a problem with the people get bored, fatigue, so on and so forth. The rest can actually help. Flexible working hours, the need of the day because of the changing in the culture and the climate and other activities outside the work can work for the development of your people. Fine. The career trends and rising employment in India. Skilled employees. Fine. Employee can be semi-skilled, unskilled, but today demand for skilled employees increasing. Technological growth. We are talking about automation and artificial intelligence to work accordingly. Work from home. All of us understand the COVID-19 crisis, right? But today, then after work from home comes hybrid work culture. Now organizations calling their people back. Fine. So you have to adapt yourself to the change in the environment. This is what we talk with the system theory also. Contractual employment. With the increase in the generation Z, in the work culture, the coming into the workforce, right? So the way we people used to have employment earlier is changing. They want to work as a freelancer. They don't want to work in a time setup of 9 to 5 or 24 into 7. They want to work for many organizations in a given period of time. That's why contractual employment, freelancing, and gig economy is increasing. Other benefits apart from salary. If you want to retain your people, you have to give them some fringe benefit, incentive, and some non-monetary loans. And job demand. Digital marketing, artificial intelligence, research. These are the few jobs which are very much in demand. So these are the additional book for you reading. I hope you understand the today's topic of performance management and career development. Dear student, this is it from my end. Thank you. Namaste. See you in the next class. I hope you enjoyed the learning. So namaste. Be happy. Keep learning. Thank you.